What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm absolutely delighted to be back. It feels like ages since the video, actually. But it is actually a very special video today, guys. It is my 50th piece of content since setting up this channel. It's just about 3 months ago, can you believe? But yeah, it's been amazing. Like I say, thank you, everybody, for your support on the channel. I really appreciate everybody that subscribed, that's liked the videos, that checked out my content, and and engaged throughout the chats as well, throughout my streams I've done, obviously. Yeah, I just appreciate it. So thank you for that. But yeah, it's been amazing. And like I say, we are, I'm getting better and better each stream. I always try and, obviously do the best I can. And yeah, I just want to keep improving, which I think I have over the last few months. So yeah, thank you, everybody. Like I say, if you are new to the channel, by the way, and you have come for the first time today, you can hit that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me. It's free as well. So I'm not, but yeah, so hit the subscribe button. Like the video if you like what you hear as well. That does help with the algorithm getting the video noticed as well. And yeah, let me know your thoughts as we go along the stream today. But yeah, as always, yeah, like I say, get involved in the chat, and I'll be happy to kind of go through your comments as well. But yeah, we have got a guest on today, of course, and we've got a new guest to the channel, which I'm delighted about to be joining. For him to join us this evening. Like I say, it's always good to get as many Town fans on as possible to get their own views, because everybody's got their own viewpoints. But yeah, we're going. Without further ado, we're going to get him in. But like I said, welcome on in, Craig. Well, mate, how are you doing?
Hey, very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Pleasure to be here, my man.
No problem at all. Thank you for giving up your time this evening, like I said, on a Friday, to come on and speak to me. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so yeah, let's get into the show then, guys, because like I say, we are here for the preview of the West Brom game. But first of all, I am keen to get Craig's thoughts, obviously, on things going on so far in the season, transfers, who you'd like to kind of see him coming next, and kind of, talk about the link players that have been linked with us as well. So yeah, obviously Daniel Scoville as well, thoughts on him as well. Well, let's get stuck into it then. I mean, I'm keen to know your thoughts, Craig. Obviously, the thoughts on the season so far. I mean, I think for me, I think it's the manner of the defeats that's happened. It's not actually the bad start, because I believe that there was always going to be that hangover, wasn't there? Especially losing, obviously, Corbyn, and then obviously losing Lewis O'Brien. There was always going to be that hangover period.
And you see it so many times. You see it happened with Barnsley. It happened with Reading when they lost the playoff final in 2017 to us. It's a common thing to happen, sadly. And yeah, we seem to have been part of that trend.
Yeah, I mean, so how have you viewed the season so far? Then? I mean, what's kind of been the negatives that you've seen, and then obviously has there been any positives? Obviously, great win against Stoke, of course. But yeah, kind of take me through how you're feeling at this point, obviously with the season starting, like I said.
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange one because, as you know, I'm a season ticket holder myself, so I'm there at the games, and me and my family, and we drive up each game from Cambridge to come and watch. And when we were there, the atmosphere was electric. That first game at home, at home to Burnley, everybody was excited. You could feel the anticipation. And when we first started that game, I remember turning to my two boys and saying, bloody hell, we're not looking hungover. We started really well for the first 10, 15 minutes. And then, it started to simmer down a little bit. And then as soon as they got that goal, the team just seemed to really be affected quite quickly from it, and seemed really dejected from that. And it was understandable. We're at home, there's the crowd, there's the anticipation, playoff finalists, we're going to push on from here. But it was Burnley still. It was still going to be a tough game against a team like that. We'd lost Toffolo, we'd lost O'Brien, we'd lost Carlos, and I was one that was a little bit surprised at first about Schofield. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I was buzzing and all that, because it was a surprise thing that happened. I don't think anybody saw it happening. Schofield being taken as coach straight away. I think he needs a little bit of time. I think it's too quick to say, right, things aren't going well, let's just abandon ship and start afresh. I think that'd be unfair. This is a guy that has played for the club. It was a player that wasn't getting paid at one point when the club was really in dire straits. He was one of those players. So he wears the town top with pride. He's everything that is incorporated in our values as a football club. And we need to give him time. How much time? It's very difficult because you don't want to get to that stage where you're playing the chasing game. But I think he needs a little bit more time yet. We've seen what can happen. Look at the game against Stoke. We saw that. I felt that new formation was paramount. And I hope that we do that moving forward. Stick to that 3-5-2. I think Yuta plays better as a left centre-back than he did as a left-back. I felt he was a little bit more comfortable in that position, personally. I liked what we saw with Kane Hayden from Villa.
Yeah,
I felt he fitted in really well. We'd signed him on the Friday, quickly registered him, and I'd said to Eldest and Alfie and Harley, I'd said to them look, I don't know if he's going to start, but the fact that we've registered him so quickly tells me he's at least going to be on the bench. We're not going to mess about here. And when he started, he just fit straight into the team. It's as if he'd been with us for several weeks. He already knew the team dynamics, and I think he's been an absolutely stellar signing. Radone, I like him. Same with Kusuma. We haven't really seen much of Mahoney to have a judgment yet on him. So I don't want to say he's a poor signing, but, I'd like to see players, if we are going to sign, let's get them as part of a strengthening of the team. So, I mean, we'll have to see on him moving forward. The one that I would like to see play is not a new signing, but it's Grant. We've not seen him play. And when we brought him in on the Preston game, I thought, oh, great. He's not starting, but he's on the subs bench. We've got the opportunity here to really see, because I know the first team isn't the same as the B team. I'm not naive enough to say, he's banging him in for them, he's going to bang him in for us. But he can't do anything if he's not given an opportunity. And I really think that lad deserved it. He's been in that B team. He's been unlucky with COVID. He was unlucky with an injury. And then when the opportunities come, he's not really being given us. And I feel sorry for him. I really do feel so. That's one lad I would like to have seen have that chance to showcase his skills.
Yeah, it's a strange one though, isn't it? Because what does Danny Grant have to do to get in the side? Because like I say, I know the B team is a different cat, but he's still scoring goals for fun in the B team. He's still playing very, very well. Yeah. He deserves a chance in the first team. He's got nothing to lose. And I'm not sure what's going on there, but they see the clubs, Danny Scoville seems to be reluctant to put him in for some reason. I don't know what it is.
No.
He sees him in training. Hello, David there. Welcome on into the stream. Thank you for coming in. Poor start, he says. Yeah, needs a new change. First game was very poor, he says, as well. And congratulations on 50. Thank you very much. Like I say, it isn't... I've kind of done a mix of pre-recorded game, actually, and obviously vlog. I've done my vlog as well. So it isn't the 50th street. It is my 50th piece of content, I like to say, because I haven't done 50 streams separately. I've kind of done vlogs. I've done, pre-recorded things that I've put on the channel. So, yeah, but thank you for your kind words there. But, yeah, I mean, obviously we've touched on it, but obviously, overall, how do you feel our transfer business has gone so far? I mean, how happy are you, obviously, that, we've seen some players coming and they've really hit the ground running and really shone in the team. Like I say, like Radone, Kessler Hayden, like I say, the fact that Kessler Hayden signed the Friday was thrown straight in the deep end on the Saturday shows how much of a quality player he is, because obviously he was ready to come in and he was ready to, he didn't. The club, Danny Scoville didn't feel like he needed that grace period to settle in. He just thought he could chuck him in there, and he'd be very, very good, and he was. But yeah, I mean, overall, how are you feeling about the transfer business so far that we've done? Obviously, with just under a week to go, isn't it, until the window closes?
If these potential targets come in, I'll feel a lot better than I will than presently. We need this centre back. I think that's pivotal to the team at the moment. I really do. You know, I know we chatted previously. You know, several days ago when we were talking about Simpson, and we were saying, you know, how we still need this centre back. Now, if these transfer rumours are true, you know, about Luke Mbete, you know, he played just recently. He played for Man City against Barcelona in the friendly, I believe. He's got now. I've heard he got an injury in that game, so I don't know how severe that is. If he will come straight into the team, how that's going to work. But that is one area I think we really need to focus on. It's good that we've got Simpson. I'm happy to have him because I think it gives us that new dimension of being able to change things up in the sense of we can be predictable. I mean, I'm a big Ward fan. I'm a massive Rhodes fan. You know, I was there when, you know, cheering Rhodes when we'd first signed him from Ipswich while Roy Keane was there, and being a huge fan of seeing Rhodes and just seeing what he was doing as a young lad. Amazing to watch. So I'm a huge fan of them too. I just think that sometimes it can become predictable. It's almost like some of our team are scared to shoot, it feels like. And you see it where, you know, I've been there where we're saying shoot, and all of a sudden they've passed it out wide to cross it in, so Ward takes the header, or Rhodes and things like that. So to have that different option with someone young, fresh legs, that speed, I'm all for. But I do think we still need to look at that defence. It's still a little shaky for me.
So would you? But what I'm trying to say, would you say you're fairly happy with the transfer business going so far?
I'm fairly so far. But I'd be happier.
Oh yeah.
When we sort this defence out, I think that's a missed opportunity. I think we've gone great in the midfield. We've got this another striker, but we've signed Boyle at the back. We've signed Utah, and we need someone with that experience of, and that's not to discredit Mbete. It may come in like, you know, Kane has and absolutely smash it, but neither Boyle or Utah have had that experience, and the Championship's quite a niche league. You know, you can go to Germany and slot in quite well, and a lot of European countries. Championship, you know, going up to Stoke on a cold Tuesday night, you know, freezing cold and playing, it's a completely different animal compared to a lot of other leagues. And I'd like to see someone that's already got that experience coming to the club. I think that's pivotal to us. And then I'd be 100 times happier. But, you know, I'm still fairly happy with the transfers that we've done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good point. So, like I said, let's go into obviously Mbete, who obviously has been the latest player to link with the club. Obviously, he did make the move to Man City in 2016. Obviously, he was actually a former Brentford youth player, obviously in his back in the day. But I mean, he also won the FA Youth Cup though as well in 2020.
Yeah.
I think this guy, obviously, 6'1". He's got a good area. He's got a really good. I think in defence, we've always been, we're struggling for height at the moment. I think that getting somebody like him, and I think it'll really help. And I think he's very highly thought of. And I think it'd be absolutely fantastic if we can get this deal over the line. I really do, because he'll add something. And I think that we've all seen it. We're struggling defensively at the moment. We are. There's no qualms about that at all. Is that obviously losing Pearson, and then he's a massive loss. Obviously, Leeds, we're going to be missing him as well, tomorrow as well. But yeah, Pearson, for me, losing someone like Pearson, it has really knocked us a bit defensively. But yeah, let's hope we can get him in. Obviously, the City player, he comes with a lot of pedigree if we can get him over the line. And yeah, he's only 18. Yes, I understand that, but if Man City are looking to load him out, he is going to be a player that will be able to slot in straight away, even if he's 18. Because we saw with Colwill, he played way above his years, didn't he, Colwill?
Oh, he was fabulous player.
You know, and I think that it'll be the same with this guy. He'll come in, he'll slot in, and he'll be able to do a job for us. Now, I know you did say, you know, he did get injured, you know, in that Barcelona game that Man City played. I believe he was taken off, but I think it was a precaution, and I don't think it's anything serious. So I think so he will be good to go for us if we can deal over the line. Just going back to the comments shortly in a minute. Need to sign a Man City player. Yeah, David, definitely. Hello there, Matthew. Welcome on in. Thank you for joining. My biggest fan. Yeah, thank you, Matthew, for coming in. I hope you're well. Up the town, indeed. If we lose tomorrow, Schofield needs to go. Whoa, that's a bold move, David. I mean, thoughts on this? I mean, I think it is too early to be saying that the manager needs to go. I mean, we've seen, though, with Stoke have let go of their manager, you know, Michael O'Neill. So, it's the season, haven't they? You know, you've got no time in this modern game, have you, to settle in the town?
No, you haven't. It's a very quick departure. I mean, they made big moves to get him from international football into Stoke, and a few games in, and bang, thank you very much, you're gone. You look at players when given time, managers when given time, things can happen. I mean, I know we're going from one extreme to the other here, and it's very few and far between. But you look at Fergie, we're one game away from being fired. He got that draw. It didn't turn out too bad in the end. He won him a couple of trophies, I think. He didn't do too bad. Now, I'm not saying we're that type of club, but I think, you know, we're only a few games in. Like I said, I completely understand where David's coming from. We don't want to be chasing the pack. I get that, because there's nothing worse than chasing the pack and being behind the 8 ball. It's better to have points on the board than games in hand. And I've always believed that. But I think it's a little too early as of yet. I think, you know, give him, you know, a few more games. If we're not picking points up after, you know, 3 games or so, then, we need to look at it, because we can't afford for that pack to then push on too much further forward. But whilst we're in the mix and, you know, we're not in relegation as of yet, you know, we're not a million miles away from those positions, but let's not panic at this stage. I think you can overanalyze things. You can panic too quickly, and it does nobody any good. Let's just give him a little bit of time. The guy you know, he lived for Huddersfield. Give him a bit of time. I agree, we need to sort it, but give the guy a few more games. If after a few games it doesn't work, then let's move on. But after you know, I think it's just a little too early for me at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do agree with it, to be honest with you there, Craig. I think, you know, you do have to give this guy time. Like I say, he's come in. To be honest with you, he has been thrown at the deep end. I'm not going to lie to you, because what my thoughts are on it is that I think that, was he ready for this kind of job? I'm not sure he was. Now, that's no discredit to, obviously, Schofield, but I think that sometimes in management you have to start from quite lower down. I think that going straight into, obviously, I know he was at the club, obviously, within the coaching setup, you know, over the years, but a manager's another story, I'm afraid. And I think that sometimes you do have to start a bit lower down, maybe League One, League Two, learn your trade, get, you know, and then build yourself up, rather than. But obviously, you know, to be honest with you, if you got this opportunity tomorrow, for example, me or you, you take the opportunity, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
You know, so it is one of those. It's difficult, and I love Schofield. I do. I really do. I think, obviously, you know, we saw him, obviously, when he played for us. He's got the club at heart. We know that, and I just really hope it does work out for him, because we have seen a bit of signs, you know, that he has got that, you know, obviously the win against Stoke. Very few positive, I must admit, and I think he has looked very vulnerable at times throughout, you know, this early stage. But I still think, you've got to give him a bit more time. But for me, I'm happy to keep Schofield for the time being and see what happens over the next few weeks. and months. But yeah, we can't afford to be waiting too long, because we do need to. It's a results business. This is the reality. It doesn't. We love Schofield. We've made that aware. We've made everybody aware of that. But it's a results business. We need results.
It's millions on the line, and that's the bottom line of it as well. It's points is pounds, and that, it's as simple as that. The one thing I would like to see with Schofield is, when we won against Stoke, you could see the passion in him. You could see how much it meant to him. But you don't see enough. I've not noticed it from my position where I sit. I've not seen that on the touchline. No. I want to see that. I want to see that fight and that passion. And I'm not trying to compare him to Carlos, because you're trying to compare apples and pears, and that's unfair on him. It really would be unfair to compare him to Carlos. But it was like he'd had 50 Red Bulls, Carlos, before the game. And he did not stop. He was up and down that touchline. He was shouting. He was always giving commands and that. And I'd like to see a little bit more of that from Schofield, because I think sometimes it just needs that invigorating from him, just to pep up and go, come on, give the extra 5%, give the extra 10%, give a rocket up the derriere, so to speak, and just give him that,
Yeah, what, you've hit the nail on the head. You really have, because me personally, I like to see a manager, with a bit of passion on the touchline, as well as obviously, obviously after results, well, you can see the passion as well. But you do want to see it on the touchline as well. I totally agree with that. So I think it is, even from my position, which is totally opposite him. Actually, I'm actually opposite him. Obviously, I'm not on the dugout side, but I am opposite him. He just seems to just stand there. And you talk about this, obviously telling players, if they're not doing their jobs. Well, I don't want to get your view on this, but to me, Schofield doesn't seem to be that kind of character that would actually say to a player, come on, you've got to up your game. He seems a bit too nice for me. I don't know if it's just me, but in management, you've got to be a bit, harsh. No, not harsh. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but you know what I'm saying, don't you? I mean, what do you think he has any authority in that changing room? I don't.
Well, it's funny you should say this, because when we travel, in fact, I can see that I've just seen Hello Lesko, and we actually travel with Andrew Lesko. Actually, I was must have joined us because I can see Hello Lesko on here, and we were talking about this, and I can't ever imagine. So, for example, let's use the Norwich game. For example, we absolutely got pummeled in that game. Yeah, it was 2-1, but we got pummeled in that, especially at first half. And I can't imagine at half time in that dressing room a hairdryer treatment. I really cannot. And it makes me giggle a bit, the thought of Schofield doing that, because I just can't envisage him being like, it's just what you see off the pitch. I imagine him being on the pitch and in the dressing room, just this nice guy. And I just think he needs to have a little bit of an edge to him and an attitude. So when it hits the fan, he goes in there and almost like, I've seen clips running around when Warnock came to be the guest. And I saw a load of videos about when we were losing to Sheffield United, and it showed the attitude and the grief he were giving the players and that. And we need that.
We do need it at times.
Yeah. I'm not saying you need that every time, but sometimes, a kick up the bum and a rocket, just to say, look, this is, to say, this isn't acceptable. It's not the same as air dry treatment. They're not going to get the same impact, and we need to allow the manager to do that, and he needs to do that, because I think there's that disconnection as well, because the players are feeling it from the fans, but if they're not feeling it from the manager, it feels like we're getting on the back. And it should be the manager getting on their back and saying, look, can you hear the fans out there? They're paying their hard-earned money, travelling all over to come and watch you guys. Sort your mess out, so to speak. And I can't imagine him ever doing that. And that's the one thing that I think you need as a leader in this game. We're not in, like me, I work in the care sector, I work in an office, I run an admin team. and I can put the arm around the shoulder and have those nicey chats. You can't do that in this sport. That those nicey doesn't work. Some need those arms around, but it doesn't work 100% of the time. No. You need to have that kick up the bum as well, and that's where we're lacking.
Yeah, you do have to have that persona as a manager at times to actually have the ability to say, look, you've got to up your game here. You're not playing, but you've got to be a bit brutal, I suppose, is the word. And yeah, he does, but I just don't see him having it like you said. But yeah, it is a good discussion to have for sure. I mean, we're going to get back to the comments because I'm so behind these comments. There's so many coming in, by the way. Wagner get us in playoffs again. Yeah, I mean, bet against it, but I can't see him coming back. Sadly, I'm afraid, David. We need to win tomorrow. We do. It is an important game tomorrow, by the way.
It's a massive 3 points.
Which we will get into very shortly, because we're actually near the end of our chat about this part of the show. If we get battered tomorrow, he needs to go. But if you lose with a fight, it's exit. Yeah, good point there, David. I think that there's a manner of how you lose a game. If we go out there, give it our all, show that fight, that spirit, that determination, fine. If West Brom are better than us, fine. But what I don't accept is the losses that we've taken this season are unacceptable in my view.
And that's the annoying bit. That is the really annoying bit. And I've said to my boys, I can accept a loss.
Yeah.
When the better teams win, I can accept a loss. I can take on chin. It doesn't bother me. What annoys me and really annoys me is when I watch a team that doesn't. It almost feels like I'd give anything, absolutely anything, to be on that pitch with my name and number on the back, playing for a town that I absolutely love. I remember going to the old cowshed with my dad, and watching and being so proud of this team and bringing my kids up as Huddersfield Town fans. And I'd do anything for that club and be on that pitch. And when I see a team lose with a lackluster performance, that's when I get really hurt as a fan, because I just think it's one thing to lose, but to not put in I'm not saying they're not trying. That'd be wrong of me, because I'm sure they are. But not to show that it doesn't feel like they're trying. That's when it feels hard to take for me.
Yeah, absolutely. There has been a bit of laziness throughout the squad though at times so far this year. I know it's the early days, but there has. And to be honest with you, to me, if the players don't look like they're trying, they're not trying. I know that may be harsh, and I know that may come across, but I think that's the correct man. It's not about looking like they're not trying. If they're looking like they're not trying, they are not trying. That's the reality, and that's that's the frustrating part. But yeah, totally agree with you there again. Both strikers, we have the strikers that we've got. Obviously, Ward and Rhodes. When they've had a chance, they've scored, haven't they, Craig? They have been very clinical, but they just haven't had enough service throughout these first few games to actually make it. The problem is, though, for me, is if you're conceding a couple of games, you're giving yourself absolutely no chance to win a game, because we know that we are not a high-scoring team, right? That's the fact, right? But when you're conceding the silly, stupid schoolboy goals that we are conceding at the moment, we have to cut that. We have to, go down to basics again. But yeah, I mean, don't you agree though, Craig? Our strikers, obviously Ward and Rose, when they've had a chance, they've scored, haven't they? They have. They really have.
Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I mean, when we signed them both, I'm not going to be here and say that I knew they'd be perfect and they were great signings. I was like, is it the right signings? Are these the players we necessarily need to start the games? Do you know what? I'm happy to eat humble pie and say for last season and the start of this season, they've just cracked on and played brilliantly. They've had the chances in front of goal and they've banged them in. Again, Rhodes is scoring. Ward scoring. Stoke both on score sheet.
How nice was that though, to see both of them on the score sheet though against Stoke?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant to see that both of them are clinical finishers, and when they've got the chance, they're scoring. Like you say though, Ryan, it's this. The service isn't being brilliant, and one of the names, and I don't mean to call players out, because I don't want to be disrespectful. You know, I've not got 50% of their skill. You know, I ain't the greatest footballer in the world. But one of the shocks for me, it has been Sorba. He's such a good player. You know, a friend of mine, David, his son had been playing alongside him and knew him, and he'd said, you know, look, when we first signed him and we didn't beat him, mate David said, look, he's going to be a rough diamond. He's one for the future. And last season, he was on it. His deliveries, I'm finding really peculiar. He does his little quick steps before running up to the ball, and it's not beating first man and most times. And it's almost like he lacks confidence a little bit. And there's something not quite there. And part of me thinks, you know, was it the Wales call-up? You know, has that hit him a little bit? Because it was hit and miss when he got his first World call-up. But there's something not quite there. And that he's a massive part of our goals, because it's his contribution that, you know, give us the goals. Look at Luton, second leg. You know, that ball whipped in, Rhodes, bang, winning playoff final. The guy is such an instrumental part to our goal tally without necessarily getting the goals. You feel it when he's not, you know, on par.
You do, but I think we've got to be careful here about Sorba, because, I understand what you're saying. You know, Sorba Thomas, you know, has really started the season slowly. We know this. But we can't really I mean, okay, last season was absolutely incredible what he produced, like you said. But, you know, he is human. You know, he'll admit himself probably that he started the season off slowly, and he's not probably happy with himself. But I think we've got to be, you know, I mean, obviously with the Wales call-up, I get what you're saying, you know. I think it's the people that are around him, though, sometimes that can have play a big part in this story, by the way, because I think that you've got to keep that guy grounded, because you've got to be saying to him, look, you haven't achieved any. I mean, okay, when everything comes at you all at once, you know, I can imagine how hard it is to deal with. I really can.
Without a doubt.
You know, the fame that goes with that as well. It can go to your head. It can, and that it just takes the people around you to home you in a bit and think, you know, hang on a minute, you know, just remember where you've come from, kind of thing. And you know, you're only really at the start of this journey, if you could say so, because obviously, you know, before he came to us, obviously he was in non-league, so it is fairly early for him, really. But yeah, I agree. His form's not there. Something's not right. I don't know what it is. But we know Sorba's always capable of that moment of brilliance though in a match still. You know,
this is it. Yeah. This is it with him, you know. And I'm a huge Sorba fan. I've got such a soft spot for him because I knew about his backstory because of, as I say, my friend knowing him and his son playing alongside him. So I had such, I'm such a huge Sorba fan, and I'm up there for, I really want him to shut me up and any other doubters up, because I can't say I'm not criticising, because I am as we speak now, and I want to see him turn it around and stick two fingers up to me and go, there you go, now shut up.
Yeah, absolutely. We all want to see him do well. We do, and you know, he just needs to. I don't know what, you know. He just needs to ignite. He needs something to ignite him again, and because he just, you know what I mean. And I've got no doubt that he will. And I think he will eventually come in the next few games. Hopefully, starting tomorrow.
I hope so.
But yeah, I mean, it is a tricky one. You know, I love Sorba to bits myself. I actually got him on the back of this shirt. I love him. I do. I absolutely love him, and I do hope that he can, you know, get back to the way it was. But we have to be careful. You know, like I say, you know, the form he showed last season was off the scale. I know he's not started the season that great this time, but you know, it's just about sometimes players will have that spell We just have to accept it. But yeah, he does need to ignite at some point. It's just fairly soon. I mean, another player that obviously Davies mentioned here about Karoma. Karoma. I like Karoma, and I'll tell you this now. But he's been absolutely shocked, and I feel for him. I really do, because since that injury, he's just not been the same player. Now, would you send him out on loan then, Craig? What do you think about this? I mean, he may need to get some minutes if he's not going to be around the first team much at all. I mean, he has had a chance this season actually, but he's just not taken it, hasn't he?
No, he hasn't taken it. He hasn't. You look at him a couple of years ago, he was banging him in for fun. And you're like, wow, we have got a starlet here. We really have got someone for the future. He is looking on fire. He got the injury, and sadly, it's really impacted him. It's a tough one, this. And the reason I say it's a tough one is you'd naturally just go, yeah, loan him out. But basically, if we say we're loaning him out, we're saying that's your career done, because he's in his last season of his contract with us. So are we loaning him out to just say goodbye? Or, so it's a tough one. I think he lacks a lot of confidence. I think he's one of the guys that is perfect for Schofield. I think he would be, if we had the hairdryer treatment, he'd be screwed. It'd absolutely deplete it. It'd be completely deflated.
Yeah.
He's the one that needs that shoulder. He's the one that needs that Schofield touch at the moment. I don't honestly know if loaning him out is beneficial. What does it do? Because if we loan him out, you generally loan out for the season. Are we going to do a short-term loan until January and then try and call him back? Do we get a loan deal where we have the option to call him back and then see how he does, and then in January try and fit him back in? If we have if the way Holmes has been playing, he was fantastic. When you look at the game against Stoke, he come on and set up too. So then can he squeeze back in? It's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, touch on Holmes just quickly. I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, Karoma. I think for me, Karoma has to stay with us, and we have to kind of. I mean, to be honest with you, though, Karoma has so many chances. It is his time run out of town anyway. So
and if it is, loan him out and let him go, and just say our goodbyes. Cut him off the wage bill. I don't know what his wages are, but why pay for someone that if we're not going to use him for the rest of this season?
Yeah.
Why pay the wages? Let's loan him out and pay partial wages, because if say a League One club, for argument's sake, comes in and they can't afford all his wages, well, if they can afford a portion of it, let's knock those off the wage bill. If we're not going to utilise him, why have all those wages on the wage bill?
I mean, yeah, the thing is, we have utilised him within the squad, but when he's been in, he's just been poor.
Yeah, it's been terrible. And I don't mean that rudely, but he has.
No, yeah, that's just being honest. That's all it is. We'll just quickly go through. Thomas, we've covered that, David. So yeah, he has been very poor start of the season, but I've got no doubt he'll get fine very soon. If we keep losing, fans aren't going to back the club, and we'll lose motivation. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, no matter whether we lose or win or draw or whatever, I'll always back the club. Will I lose motivation? Probably, because I think that does take its toll when you are, in a very bad moment and you're not winning much. You're losing or you're drawing. It's very hard to find that motivation, isn't it, within, if you've got nothing to feel motivated about. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about? I mean, yeah. Do you agree with what I said there, or what is your stance on this? I mean, we'll always.
Look at the season we had. I've lived in Cambridge since 2011. I've seen some dire seasons with Huddersfield. One thing I would say to any of the younger fans watching today, whether they be people that come with parents or at an age where they're going on their own, but younger fans, you're just in work and you're using your money to buy season tickets. Please don't give up hope. I've been at games with people like Andrew Lesko's on tonight. Good evening, Andrew, by the way. And we've been to games together. We've gone in, we've paid our money. We've then been putting £20 into a bucket each with other fans just to pay the players' wages so we didn't go bust. I was there when, I remember the video coming out and buying it, The Great Escape with Peter Jackson. when we had the Great Escape. Then we had the Great Escape 2 with Peter Jackson again, where we were going bust, and there was a pitch invasion, everyone cheering, we want Jacko back and him coming. We had 3 players on our books, and next time we got promoted. There has been much worse times than where we are today. Our club was nearly 30 million in debt. We were hours away from bankruptcy and not existing. We're in tier 2 of the football league. Things could be a hell of a lot worse. Yeah, results aren't going our way, but let's not give up hope. You look at Portsmouth. They won FA Cup. They were in Premier League. You had Milan Mandzukic owning them. You had Harry Redknapp there. They got relegated. They had all these owners from abroad that came. Some owned the club, some owned the ground, and this, that, and the other. They're still stuck in League One. Things could be a lot worse. There's, you don't think things are bad. I'm not saying they're great at the moment, but they're not dire. We have to put things in perspective.
I think it's very easy if you haven't gone through that era, like you say, obviously the Great Escape. I mean, obviously, I've only been able to read back on that. I wasn't around at that point, but yeah, I know what you're saying though. Very good points, like I said. But yeah, it is always hard to find motivation if we are a down spout, though, as you probably agree as well.
It is.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. If we sack Scoffle, we need to get Wagner back. Yeah, like I say, I'd love to see him back. To be honest with you, I wouldn't decline him. He's always welcome in Huddersfield.
Without a doubt.
Tomorrow, yeah, it'll be great. Carlos should have never have left. Yeah, I mean, it was a strange one, wasn't it, Craig? Because the fact that he waited until the time he did, it seems like he's kind of. I don't like to say it because what Carlos did last year, he was fantastic, but I think that he kind of hung us out to dry a bit, if I'm honest with you. He didn't end very well, did it, this? Because the way he left, I think it could have been handled a lot better than how he actually did leave, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, it was strange, wasn't it, the timing? I mean, why did he wait so long?
Well, there's been, a lot about this, but I think there's 2 sides to every story.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stick given to the board that we hadn't backed him, and that's why he left. But, we have spent, I'm not saying we spent millions, but we have spent some money this season. Maybe not the amount Carlos wanted, granted, but we have spent. But the timing was still weird. He'll have known what we're going to spend. We'd have had a plan in place. When the board are there, you've 2 plans. This is going to be plan A if we get promoted. This is our plan B should we not win the playoff final. So there have been things set out already prior to then, but it was such a long period of time before that resignation happened that that didn't sit well with me. That really didn't sit well with me. And I'm a huge Carlos fan. But I think if you're going to leave, do it at the beginning. If you've got the club's best interest at heart, do it at the beginning and let's, amicably do it then. Why wait so late in?
Because that didn't help the preparations of a very short preparation, by the way, because of this World Cup fiasco.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that because it'll be another. Why that's happening, I'll never know. But anyway, moving swiftly on. Hello, Lesko. Oh, yeah, you're saying hello to Lesko. I don't actually come up Lesko's coming here, but David, if he's in, welcoming Lesko. I know you very well, obviously. We see you a lot in games. And Nichols hasn't had the best start. I mean, to be honest with you, the goals that Nichols has conceded, he couldn't really have done anything about it, if I'm honest with you. Now, I'm not saying that his overall game is perfect, because I think that sometimes he has looked a bit. I think at one point, I thought, hang on a minute, where is the Nichols of last season? In terms of, I just feel like sometimes his distribution and maybe his slowness of getting the ball out. I mean, you could argue that he's had no options to kind of look ahead and see, to get the ball out quickly enough. But I still think, yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think he's still been pretty solid for us, to be fair. He's made some key saves so far this season.
Penalty save against Stoke, I think that were pretty key.
That was a massive turning point, that, actually getting that, yeah. Now, we have got some questions, but I will leave them till the end because we do need to be getting on with the show in a moment. So I'll leave the question to the end. So, David, I will come back to your question you posted earlier on. So don't think I've ignored you in that one. Good evening, Tom. Hello. Hope you're well, mate. I thank you for coming in. Sat in the pub watching your stream with all my mates. Oh, bless you. Hello to you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello there. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get through it. In fact, you actually sent that 20 minutes ago, but we've just been so busy talking about Huddersfield Town here. It's just so easy to get ahead of ourselves. But I've enjoyed, like I said, I didn't actually expect to spend so much time on this section, but it is what it is. It's been great to speak so far. Up the Town, Utah looks, he looks very good, doesn't he? I'm really impressed with Utah so far. Really, really good addition to the squad, and yeah, you can see that he's got that quality within himself. So yeah, he'll be a key player this season. Andrin's talks a lot of hype, but needs to show his quality. To be honest with you, David, I think that the way Tino's started the season, I think he looks a lot sharper. He looks a lot better. He looks more hungrier. He looks like he just looks like he's really pumped, doesn't he? And I think that, we're going to have a good season from him. I really do believe that. I think he will stay fit. And, the more that we see of him, I think the better he'll become. So, I think he's always a player that will always try and create something. And you've got to have those players in your squad. So, I think he's showing glimpses of quality. Still not there yet. I'm not saying he's done it, but just be patient with him there, David. I think that he will come good, become better and better as the season progresses. We need a backup goal. If Nichols gets injured, we have nobody. I mean, it is a good point, that. I mean, to be honest with you, we have got, obviously, I hate saying his name because I always screw up.
Go on, give it a chance. Go on.
Bilakopich? Yeah. But yeah, we have got him. We've also got Jacob Chapman, obviously, the lesser so name, obviously, from the academy. Probably, maybe we could do with someone that maybe pushes Nichols a bit more, but I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't mind either of the backup goalies that we've got in at the moment to come in, to be honest with you, if we needed to, of course. We don't want that to happen, but if we did. Norwich game was very poor. I don't know how we can batter Stoke, but then get battered by a poor Norwich. Maybe we'll... To be honest with you, though, David, I don't think Norwich are poor. I think that, this season, they've started off solid, granted. But I think that if you look at their squad, they've got so much quality in their squad. I'm sorry, when you've got the likes of players coming off I was looking at their bench compared to ours on that game we played them, obviously, on the Tuesday night, and thinking to myself, wow, imagine having a player of that quality on the bench. I think it just shows the quality. So I think that they've had a slow start. They were always going to have that grace period, maybe, the relegation from the Premier League. It's never nice. It always maybe takes a few weeks to get going. So I think they was in a false position, to be honest with you, when we played them. They just happened to turn it when we played them, which was very unfortunate. But yeah, it is one of those. But yeah, need to get a better left back. He's one of those. I mean, what's your views on this? I mean, how are you thinking about this left back at the moment?
I mean, at the moment, we seem to be playing Ruffles.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Utah at left centre back. I don't want him as left back. But I do agree with David. I'm not sure Ruffles is the man for that position.
I think he's looked, and if you've seen as well, no disrespect, like I say, I like Ruffles, and I think the fact he's got a chance is great, but you've seen teams always target that side that Ruffles is on. Yeah. That's no disrespect to Ruffles, because to be honest with you, though, I think that he's just struggling. He's struggling in the Championship team, and I think that he may need to be going out on loan at some point. But obviously, we haven't got the resources to allow that at the moment. So it is one of those. We did see glimpses of him last season, not much though, admittedly. Obviously, this season we've seen more of him, and yeah, he does seem to be struggling a lot. I do feel sorry for him as well. I think he's not down to effort. I think he's putting in the hard yards, but I just think he's just really struggling. Edmonds Green doesn't look good enough. I said that in my own stream. I think that he's been thrown in the deep end again. The fact is, yes, okay, with Rotherham last season, he had a fantastic season at Rotherham, as you know. He was in League One. It's a big, big step to the Championship. I'm sorry. I think that what we need to do is manage Edmonds Green a bit better. I think we should have loaned him out to a Championship club this season and see how he got on the Championship and get experience at level. I mean, what are your views on this day? I mean, he hasn't really. I mean, he has been a bit poor at times, hasn't he, in that defensive line when we've seen him?
He's been shaky. He has had, but I think when he's one that needs a leader with experience in that position to nurture him and give him the confidence and give him the skills, the mindset of, what to look for. He's a kid. He's a young lad. You've got to imagine what we were doing as non-footballers at his age, and they've got these young lads have got a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. They've got all those fans watching them, and it's a lot for them. So I would personally get him out on loan, let him get that experience, and when he's back with us, he needs to have that support, arm around the shoulder, say, look, you're earning your stripes, you're learning your trade. This is what now you're in Championship. This is the extra bits of the puzzle, so to speak, versus League One and League Two that you need to be looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he just needs a bit of confidence. I know it's not strange saying that, but he doesn't seem to believe in himself enough, in my opinion. The body language I see sometimes on the pitch, and
he's a quality player.
Yeah, he is. He's got a bright future. I've no doubt about that. I think he's a really exciting young player. It's a tricky one. What I do with him if I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking about it again. I'm thinking, if he's not, he's not a starter at the moment for us. So maybe he's best going out on loan and getting some more experience again. But I would like to see him in a Town shirt at some point. Anyway, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Really stake his claim in the Town shirt. Just to say, obviously, we have seen him at some point throughout the season. Hello, Harley, by the way. New name to the channel. Hello there. Welcome on in. It's great to have new faces that crop up on this stream. It's fantastic. Most games except the Stoke game, all players look like they were too tired to play and not putting in 100%. At times, but I just think every club is in the same position in terms of that short preparation for in that pre-season run that we've had, and maybe we've had less time. To be fair, actually, I think they might need to get to the playoff final, so we have had that less time to prepare. But I don't know if it's down to ties at some point. Unfortunately, I'm afraid to say. I think that these players shouldn't be too tired at this stage of the season. I know it's a busy, hectic schedule. Even more so than it usually is in the Champions because of this fiasco of a World Cup that's happening very shortly. But anyway, I keep getting my digs in there, but I'm not going to go into it, I promise you. If the players look tight to you, surely not so early in the season.
I think I understand what Harley's saying.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's necessarily tiredness. I think where we kind of went wrong in our preparation was playing like two separate games and not having a first team, giving them enough games together to gel. And I think that's where it hasn't helped and showed a bit of disjointedness. And I think that's showed at times. I don't think it's so much tired. I think they're still finding the feet. But I do understand where Harley's coming from and how it can be perceived as that way.
Love that there's so many comments, guys. I just can't cope. We're going to be here all day. But I do appreciate you all, by the way. But we do need to be getting on with the show very shortly. But I will cover all the comments before the end of the show. I promise you. But we may need to move on in a few moments. We're just going to cover these last few comments, and then we will have to move on. Wales, he has changed him, unfortunately, and for the not for the good either. We need to get the atmosphere back. We do. I think. To be honest with you, I think the atmosphere has been a bit poor at times. I know sometimes it's hard as fans, as fans, we need something to shout about for it to get going, and we have kind of done our bit. But because of the way the games have panned out, especially at home, I think it's very hard to kind of get behind the team when maybe 2 or 3-0 down after the first half an hour, for example. I'm putting it in the worst possible scenario, but I'm just saying it is. Hello, Manny. Welcome on in. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining us. I really am sorry if you've left us already, but I'm just so behind. That was sent 20 minutes ago. We're just talking about Town. Drop Sorber, start Pat Jones. The thing is with Pat, I know, obviously he did fantastic against Norwich when he came in, but we've got to be careful with Pat because I think that he has had his injury problems. We do need to, I think Danny actually said this in the press conference today, about we do need to manage his minutes at the moment because you can't just get a young lad straight in after he's had an injury like that, or injury start to his career, if we could say so. So you have got to manage it before he's ready to be consistently in that squad, because I do believe he is a potential player that we'll see a lot of this season, in the next coming months. But
I believe Schofield said, didn't he, that he can't see him starting in the near future, but like you've just said, one for the future. He's going to be getting the minutes from what I understood or read into it, but just not necessarily starting.
Yeah, absolutely. Pat Joe, yeah, David, I agree. He's a future player. Looked good when he came, and he certainly did. Absolutely fantastic, kind of cameo appearance. All right, Manny's just talking to David there. I mean, one question. I hope you've not left us, Manny. I really hope you're with us, because I will answer this question now for you. This has probably been asked in previous streams, but we'll answer it again. There's no problem about that, because I did cover it in the last one. How do you feel about Turton and Captain Hogg extend their deal with you a lot? Well, first of all, Hogg, absolutely delighted that Hogg has extended his deal. What a player, what a loyal, amazing, incredible player he's been for us. I mean, I just love him. He's Huddersfield Town through and through. He's a legend. He's an absolute legend. Like I said, build that statue now, because we want to see a statue of Jonathan Hogg at the front of that stadium. I promise you, because what he's done for this club, though, on all seriousness, has been truly, truly incredible, isn't he? I mean, what have your thoughts? First of all, let's go with Hogg first. I mean, yeah, it gave another boost, didn't it, seeing Hogg extending for a further year, didn't it, the club overall?
Of course it did. No-brainer. Absolute no-brainer for me. I know why people are questioning it, because they've seen some of the pass backs and things and interceptions which have caused goals and things like that. But this guy, he's one of the few people on the pitch that if something goes wrong, he's not afraid to go straight up to him, give him a right kick up derriere and say, what the bloody hell are you doing? But at the same time, he's not egotistical or anything like that he won't admit his own foils and faults. And that's what I like about him. He's a genuine guy that it's clear to see why he's captain, because I don't think we've got anybody who's a leader like him. I don't think there's anyone that could, necessarily do what he's doing in an effective way. So for me, yeah, I'm happy he signed a contract extension.
He gets stuck in, doesn't he? He's not scared to get a tackle in his window, and he does the dirty work that most players don't like to do, relatively speaking. So yeah, absolutely. And like I say, obviously Turton, fantastic that he's extended, signed a new long-term deal, because when he first came in, we saw him, he was struggling, but as time's gone on, he's got better and better, and he's really established himself in that side, hasn't he? So he deserves that new contract, doesn't he? Because of what he's put in the effort. He's really putting the hard work on the training pitch, and it's rewarded him. He's really rewarded himself for that, hasn't he? So yeah, I mean, you'll certainly be happy with that as well, won't you? About Turton signing.
Without a doubt. Like you say, it took him time to establish himself, but he's put in the hard yards, and he deserves that contract extension. He's, cemented himself in the team. He works hard. Yeah, but there's errors, but there's errors within the whole team. We can't single out people necessarily. And this is the thing, when we're on fire, everybody was adoring him, and the whole team. So I for one am happy he signed, and think he's someone that we need to be keeping.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, it's not, in this game, it's not about who makes errors, because, the best players make errors. They're all human at the end of the day. And I believe that, it's how you react to those errors and how you respond to them. If you lose the ball, you get straight back in there and make sure you win that ball back. You're really hungry desire, show all your qualities, because that's what we want to see. We know that any player that steps on that pitch, if they give their all and make a few mistakes, so what? At least they're doing that after a bit of that reaction of, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it is one of those. Quickly, before we move on to the West Brom, obviously Tyrese Simpson, obviously we did speak about him earlier. Obviously he's a 20-year-old centre forward. He's a big prospect actually, and I think that if he comes in, obviously the deal a few days ago, they did say that the last place I heard, I don't know if you've heard anything different, but they had actually agreed a deal. But obviously, there's plenty more things to transfer other than agreeing a deal nowadays, isn't there? So, but it seems to be taking a long time, isn't it? I mean, but surely we should get him, shouldn't we, at some point?
Yeah. So what I've heard today, and I'm not going to say I've got no contacts, things like that. It's all what I've read and rumours and things like that. But from what I understood, he'd had his medical today, and he'd been he'd had that, and it should be announced. Hopefully, the announcement may be even tomorrow, ready for the next game, and that I genuinely think that is a possibility. Because it gets the crowd straight on side. It gives that morale boost, doesn't it, when you're announcing new players and things like that. We've seen other clubs do it. The deal, from what I understand, is about £500,000, and I think he's a quite an astute signing. I really do.
He'll give another option, won't he? And
a new dynamic.
And that's what we need. We're not saying, look, we've scored goals this year. That's not been the problem for me, and that's why I've kind of questioned the clubs about the priority list here. Obviously, now we've been linked with a centre back, so I'm thinking, okay, then I'll let you off. But really, we should have been looking for that centre back first. Obviously, the availability of this lad from Man City obviously has come at this stage rather than before, so that's why we haven't looked at the centre. But yeah, if we can get that centre back in, obviously, Bete from City, and then obviously Simpson over the line as well, I'd be very, very happy. Like I say, I got those thoughts. But yeah, right, guys, we are going to leave your comments, but we're going to go back to them at the end. But I do need to be doing this because actually we are over an hour into the stream and we still haven't done the main feature of the show. But of course, I'm sure you all don't mind because we do love talking about our football club. So yeah, let's get into tomorrow's game, which I'm very looking forward to, of course. So yeah, I'll kind of start off this. Obviously, we go into the game looking for our second win of the season, of course. Like I said, we've had a weekend without action. I mean, to be honest with you, though, I was a bit annoyed that we didn't actually play last weekend because of the situation. They should have done better, all this now. But actually, looking at it, I think that it will have really helped the players. It really kind of, not having a game, and actually being able to recover for once. Because obviously, when you're playing Saturday, whatever you're doing, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, whatever you're doing, it's very hard to recover, isn't it? And I think it's good to have that grace period that we've had. So in hindsight, maybe it wasn't so bad, but now we're playing catch-up, which is what we need. But anyway, obviously, West Brom arrived. Obviously, they won their last game at home in the league, 5-2 win against Hull, who have been very surprise package so far in the Championship this season. Pace setters, of course. Obviously, they did lose midweek, though. By the way, if in the League Cup. So yeah, I mean they had a game during the week, so they'll be more. We'll be certainly a lot fresher than us, and we're going to take advantage of that tomorrow for sure. Do you see that as an advantage tomorrow? By the way, Craig, before we get into the opposition in more detail, I mean. It surely is, isn't it? We have yeah.
And people say, "Oh, well, it's good to get the games under the belt, and things like that." But I think having that extra bit of recuperation, it gives us more training time. I personally think it's only a good thing. Having that extra bit of recuperation. Let's get the basics right on training. Let's get our plans in motion. Let's practice. If we've got any plans for set pieces and things like that, any new ideas, let's try them out. And having an extra 7 days, that can only be a benefit.
And we have to use that to our advantage tomorrow for sure.
Without a doubt, we have to. We have to go into that game on the front foot, like the Burnley game, like the Stoke game, where we were straight in there for the first 10-15 minutes, just at them constantly, and tire them down. Let's really use that extra week to our advantage and let's push their bodies and let's see how tired are you from that midweek game? Yeah, how are you feeling? Yeah. How hungover are you? Let's really put them through the mill.
I think that, to be honest with you, when you are at home, you do have to take the game to the opponent. I never like it when we don't because I just don't understand that mentality. But yeah, I see what you're saying with the games we've seen so far. I mean, obviously the opposition, let's look into further details now. Obviously, West Brom obviously finished a respectable 10th place last season, obviously, on 67 points. just 8 points short of the playoffs, which is kind of too much of a big gap that maybe the West Brom fans was wanting, actually, unfortunately. I think they did have a very inconsistent season, and yeah, there is still a bit of kind of, do the fans like Steve Bruce, don't they? His style of football, I think that Steve Bruce holds back that side very much, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I just think he's very negative at times. I don't think we're seeing the full potential of West Brom with him at the helm, unfortunately. No. I don't, and I never really have liked him as a manager. Maybe that's harsh to say. To be honest with you, he's a great guy. Obviously, great career, obviously playing as well. Obviously, looking back into the history books, of course. I never actually saw him play. I would have loved to have seen him play, but obviously, I just wasn't around. But yeah, as I was saying, this is obviously their second consecutive season in the Championship, after being relegated. Like I said, they beat Hull 5-2 in the last league game. I think they'll be looking to build that momentum going into this game on Saturday afternoon, to be honest with you. But to be honest with you, it's very unheard of that they actually score 5 in it. Well, it's very unheard of they actually score 1 in a game, let alone 5. So hopefully their goals are dried up for a few games and we can be all right. But ones to watch, obviously, I've picked out a few here. Obviously, Jake Livermore, he's a colossal in that midfield, he really is. Obviously, a player that has, been at Tottenham, I remember seeing him at Tottenham and he didn't look out of place there at all. Obviously, he's been out on loan various times as well. Obviously, he's had his injury issues, and that's kind of why he's pushed out the door, really, at Tottenham, in my opinion. Obviously, he's been out on loan to various clubs. But I think he's a very good player. I think, obviously, he's the captain, and he's also made over 170 appearances in his 5 years for the club, and has scored 7 goals also. That's not bad for a midfielder of where he plays. Also picked out John Swift. Again, we know this guy very well, obviously. He was at Reading, of course. I'm sure he was in that lineup when we actually beat Reading in that playoff final, actually. I'm sure I saw his name on the team. Anyway, I can't remember.
I'd have to double check that one. I'm not sure.
I think he was. He was around the squad anyway, and I think if he didn't start, he definitely came on. Like I say, he's an attacking midfielder. We have to be careful with this guy. I think he does cause that threat. Obviously, he's been at Chelsea. He started his career at Chelsea, I believe. Obviously, like I say, he's been out on loan a few times. Obviously, he moved to Reading in 2016, stayed with them for quite a considerable amount of time. And then, obviously, decided to move to West Brom, where obviously he's made over 185 appearances, scored 31 goals. And yeah, like I say, he's a very good player. He's Swift. And like I say, he's started all 5 games in the Championship this season as well. And he's got 2 goals to his name. Now, we've also got a familiar face coming to the Johnston Stadium. You have to mention this guy because, yeah, we remember him very fondly, of course, and maybe not so towards the end of his career. But anyway, Carlin Grant, of course, obviously former player of ours. He moved there in October 2020. Like I say, hang on. Yeah, he did. Like I say, he obviously scored 23 goals in 56 appearances for us, and has since scored 21 goals in 69 appearances for West Brom. Having already opened his account in the 2022-23 season, like I say, he'll be looking to add to his tally, won't he, this weekend, of course.
Of course he will, against his old club.
Have you picked out anybody in this match that we should look out for then for West Brom's?
Yeah, I mean, I had Colin Grant, I had John Swift, because obviously we're top assist for Reading. I think Jed Wallace is one to watch as well. Yeah. Quality player, again, good assists, and I think he's one to watch. Also, it all depends on what West Brom we see. The one saving grace we've got is Steve Bruce. And the reason I say that is Steve Bruce is not one for knowing going on winning runs. Whether it were at Newcastle, whether it's at West Brom, he's not one that seems to get, you don't hear a team with Steve Bruce and on a 5-win running streak. You know, who's
Yeah,
going to say, you don't hear things like that. So it all depends how they line up and how he sets the team up. But for me, like I say, Callum Grant, John Swift, and for me, Jed Wallace as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely nice kind of choice there. But yeah, we've got to be very careful. Like I said, they're a quality side of West Brom, and we still need to do a job. But it'll be another good test for us. And yeah, hopefully we can come out the right end, of course, and be celebrating a win come 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, evening, whatever you want to say. But yeah, so yeah, that is it. Obviously for West Brom's part. I mean, let's focus on ourselves. Obviously, the press conference today, obviously I listened to it. Danny Schofield, spoken earlier. It's a big boost to have Kasumu back in training, proper training from Monday as well, by the way. So he's being light training at the moment. I think he'll be back, properly training next week, and then obviously he'll need to get up to speed with things. So the injury that he got wasn't as bad as we thought, but to be honest with you, if you're getting injured after 15 minutes, you know there's maybe some underlying issues there, but hopefully we need to try and at utmost do our best to keep, once he's back and getting fit. But apart from that, obviously we've got no other injury concerns. Obviously Pearson's out, obviously still, and he will be for the remainder of the season, from my understanding. But and then obviously Lees will be suspended tomorrow, which is going to be a big loss. I know that people have questioned Lees at times, and to be honest with you, Lees, I felt sorry for Lees at times because he can't do the defensive work all on his own. Obviously, when he had Pearson there, there was, he was really had that real strong partnership with Pearson, and they work well together, and but yeah, he can't do it all on his own, and that's maybe why he's being a bit more vulnerable this time. I'm not saying that other defenders aren't doing their job, but I'm just saying we haven't got the quality at the moment, really, in my view. To obviously Nakayama's come in since, and he's really shored up that defence, but I don't know. But yeah, a nice selection of players to choose from tomorrow, which is good news. And yeah, I mean, let's get into the lineups then, and then we're going to have to go to the comments. We'll get all this out of the way, and then we'll go back to the comments to finish with. I hope you've not got any plans this evening, Craig, because we are going. I was actually planning for an hour, but we've actually gone way over that. And usually my streams are an hour. But yeah, it is. I'm loving it.
Don't you worry, mate. It's fine.
But yeah, we're going to go to the team lineups now, and I'm going to start with mine because I think that when you said earlier about that 3-5-2, I don't know if I agree with you. I think that I do like the 3-4-3. I do like this formation, and that is the formation I'd like to see us go with tomorrow, because I just think it allows us to have that obviously, when you are defending, you slot your 2 wing backs in, obviously make it a 5 at the back, and I just think it works really well. We've seen it numerous times this season, and I think it's worked well. So that's why I've gone for that formation. Obviously Nichols in goal. Turton, I'd like to see Nakayama in the middle now. Lees isn't present, so I'd like to see Nakayama in that centre back role. I think he's got the quality to do that. And I think I've loved Nakayama not only for what he's produced, but I think he's very vocal. He possesses that leadership skills. I think he's very much of a leader as well in that side. Yeah. And yeah, obviously, I mean, I have to. Obviously, this is a decision I have to make, but I think that maybe someone like, I mean, if we're looking at maybe, Edmonds, Green or Boyle, but I just don't know if the safe option would probably to be putting Boyle in there, but I just don't know if he's. I mean, I'm going to stick with what I put here because I don't want, but I've gone with Ben Jackson because I think that what Ben Jackson showed in glimpses, and I've seen him in the BT, I know it's a big step, but I just think maybe I'm being harsh to maybe the likes of Boyle and Green, because I think if I was to put anybody on that right side of that centre-back pairing, I think that I'd have to put Edmonds Green there because I think Boyle can't really play that position where I'm asking him to play. I don't know, maybe I just put Jackson straight away, so maybe I should just stick with that. Then, midfield, obviously, Kessler Hayden, definitely. Hogg in the middle there. I want to see Kamara come in for this one. I really do think I think that when we've seen him at times, I think I really liked him, and I think that he should come in that set. I know that Radoni's been in that middle with Hogg, but I just think Radoni's a lot better out. I think he's wasted in that position for me. I just think he's better out wide. So, which is why I've put Radoni out on the wing as well. So I've put him, I'm not putting him in the middle, but I've put him out on the wing there. And obviously the three up top. Obviously Tino's back tomorrow, so I definitely put Tino straight back in there. Ward down the middle. And I know Thomas has not been at it, but I just think Thomas, it's only a matter of time before he ignites. And I really hope this is the game, so I put Thomas as well in that role. I mean, you've done your selections. I'll pass it over to you now. Talk me through your team and kind of your reasoning behind this team as well.
Yeah,
your formula, of course.
Well, although I was on about 3-5-2 and everything like that, I have gone same with 3-4-3.
Yeah.
Because it does work. I do like that, having that attacking presence. So, of course, England's number one, Nichols, got to be done. In next, I've got Turton. I've gone Utah, and I agree about Ben Jackson. I do agree all that, but I had wrote Edmonds Green instinctively, and I do think he'll be the one that starts. Again, Hayden, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Ruffles on the opposite side, and then in your centre you've got Hogg, and I like Kamara, I really do. And I'd like to see Radoni higher up than central mid, because I don't think we're utilising his strengths well, because it was a high assist player. And being in that centre mid with Hogg, I don't think allows him to showcase what he was done and why we got him. But I believe that's who will play there. It'll be Hogg and Radoni. And again, I've gone the same. Up front, we've got Tino, Sorba, with Ward in the middle.
Yeah,
so I think the only alteration is I've gone Edmonds Green and Radoni.
To be honest with you, I think that Edmonds Green, he could have been either way. But like I say, I wouldn't be unhappy to see Edmonds Green in there. I think it would be good, but I just don't want him to be throwing the deep end again, and then he make a mistake, and then his confidence goes. You know what I mean? I'm more thinking about maybe protecting a bit more than I should, but I don't know. I wouldn't be unhappy to see him in there. I just think I don't know if he's struggling, but he just looks a bit jaded a bit at times. I don't know, but like I say, we've not agreed with Radoni's position, but we've still got him in there. So
squeeze him in, because he's a quality player. He really is.
He is.
It's difficult to squeeze him in what's probably his natural position versus our formation don't marry up. So it's making it work somehow.
Yeah, I mean, he did look very good in that central midfield with Hogg, to be fair. And I think that, Hogg will always be the one that sits. And I think that sometimes you only need that one pivot, that one sitter in midfield. Obviously, it doesn't mean that, so we saw in the games that Radoni's playing that position. He's trapped back as well, bless him. But I think that he shouldn't be asked to do. I'm not saying every player should track back, because that's not the right attitude to have. But I just think he should be more further forward, looking more towards rather than having to do that so much in that position, which you have to do so much. So it does give him the room to go forward though in that position in central midfield though as well. So I don't mind seeing him there, but I just think he should be out on the wing, in my view. But yeah, great selections there. Now it is that time where we have to predict. And I hate doing this because it always goes. Literally, you should have seen it. I literally predicted us to win 2-0 again. I think it was 2-0 against Burnley, 2-0. I can't remember what I predicted against. But I had us to win it, and we always never did, which is why I'm always a bit dubious about doing this. But I'm going to stick to it because I think I actually backed us to beat Stoke. So, I did keep the faith. So I think that we will have I think there's an opportunity to win this game tomorrow. I really do. I think we're at home. We have to take the game to them. And I do. I think that we can win this game, and I think we will win this game. My score, gosh, do I think they will score without without defence? I'm saying yes, but then again, West Brom don't score much. I know they have recently, but they don't generally score much. But it doesn't mean they won't get the goal. It doesn't mean they won't get one goal at least. But I don't think they will get a goal tomorrow. I don't know why I just don't. I think that we'll get. And I'm always a bit thinking about this. I think we'll win. Like I said, I'm rambling. I apologise, guys. But it's such a difficult decision. But I think we will win, and I think we'll win 2-0. I'm going. I think Tino will get on the score sheet tomorrow, and I think Radoni is going to be getting a goal because I think he's been outstanding so far, and he deserves a goal. So I think he may get a goal. But then I'm thinking, I think that maybe Ward or maybe Rose that will probably come on throughout the game will get a goal as well. So should I go 3-0? I don't know, guys. It'll be 3-0 though. That's the thing. No, I'm going 2-0 and I'm going to stick with the scorers, but I think that Ward and Rose will still make a massive contribution. But what are you going for if you want to predict, of course? But I don't want to go.
Oh, no, I'd already said prior to coming on tonight to my boys that I felt it'd be 2-1. I think we're always there to say welcome to our old players, please. Score a goal in front of us. You know, we're always welcoming. We did it with Sinani, so I can. It's written in the stars for Grant. But I had it as I'd said that again. I like yourself. I thought Tino would score, so I had Tino to get his first. I had it that they'd it'd be 1-1.
Yeah.
And Rhodes would come on for Ward and bang one in. And that's how I think the 2-1 will be. I'm not sure if we'll go 1-0 down or we'll go 1-0 up, but I think it'll be Tino to score and Rhodes will get the winner coming on for Ward.
We'll certainly settle for that. But the thing is, we've always seemed to be slow starting games for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, we're going to go back to the comments because actually, guys, we have finished our preview. So yeah, like I said, we do want to obviously speak more about this in a moment, but I'm just gonna go to the comments and where have I got to, because there's so many, guys. Thank you so much for engaging. You brought your fans with you, Craig. You really have. What are your thoughts on? We've already covered what Turton's been like. Oh no, we haven't actually. What are your thoughts on Turton so far this season? We kind of touched on how he was at the start of last season, how he's developed. I think he's kind of carried in the same vein, really. I mean, sometimes, you know, every player in that defence has to take responsibility for the goals we've conceded. But I think he's looked okay. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I don't think he's done anything so bad that you think, oh my God, what's going on? You know, he's consistent. You know, he puts in the hard graft, and the whole defence needs to be accountable for what's going on, not one individual.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, he's carried on the same vein as last season, and I just think with time, I genuinely believe he will push on, and he'll just get better and better.
Yeah, which is definitely what we want. But yeah, nice answer there. Another question: what are your thoughts on Radoni? I think Radoni is really settling very quickly, and he just shows the quality he's got. You only have to look at his stats, like any if you like his stats, of course, but you only have to look at what he did in the Wimbledon side last season. In a very struggling Wimbledon side, by the way, he still managed to produce the numbers he did, which shows the quality he's got. He's come into the Championship that he's never played in Championship, and he's really hit the ground running. He's played without fear. In the games that we've lost, he's always been that bright spark for us, and he's always tried to make something happen, and he's always looked excited. He's a player that gets you off your seat, I think.
He's a hungry player.
Yeah. I mean, what have your thoughts been on since since he signed? I mean, this season.
What a signing!
Yeah.
What a signing! Young, hungry player. You look at the stats. He's got, like you say, for the poor Wimbledon side. It was their shining light.
Yeah.
Goals and assists.
Yeah.
when we signed him, I was excited. When I saw him, it backed up, you know, what what was perceived to be him as a player. He's backed everything up, in my opinion, and I think he'll go on to be a bigger, better player and instrumental for Town for the season already. I think he'll show that he's an instrumental player for us to progress through this season and get further up that table.
I think he's already shown how instrumental he's going to be, actually. You know, the way he's come in and really hit the ground running. And yeah, he's good. For me, he's one of the first on the team sheet at the moment. He really is. You know, he is. And that speaks volumes, you know, obviously with him being relatively early on in the season, if you want to see. But yeah, he looks the part as well. He looks totally the part as well.
He does.
But yeah, fantastic to see Radoni. I mean, thoughts on Holmes. I mean, anybody that knows me knows I'm not Holmes' biggest fan. Now, I know he had a great performance against, obviously, when coming off the bench against Stoke, and I've got to give it to him there. But for me, it's not about having one very, very good cameo appearance in 50 games, for example. Maybe I'm being dramatic there, but I'm being honest. I think that he has to look at himself, because at the end of the day, he's a player that I find that he's one of those that is very, very lazy throughout this. Unfortunately, I do, because you know I've seen him walking around the pitch, and I'm sorry, I don't like to see. I cannot see the football field because it just doesn't sit well with me. What he's produced when he's been at Town has not been anywhere near good enough overall. I know he's had a few good bits and pieces that he's produced at times, but that's not enough for since he come through that door. That's not enough, and he knows it. He knows it. But he's been quite happy to just kind of coast through, really. And maybe I'm being harsh about Holmes. I'm going to give it to him. He had a fantastic performance against Stoke when he came on, but I see the bigger picture here, and I see that a player that decides to turn up when he wants to, and doesn't very rarely turn up. In the majority of times you see him. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not your biggest fan, Holmes, and I'm not really upset if I don't see him in the team, to be honest.
No, I'd agree with that. You know, he's very hit and miss. You know, I can think of a few games where he's played well away to Forest.
Yeah.
You know, where he scored. You know, this game against Stoke, and these games where he's played well. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I don't want to upset anybody who's watching today. We're Holmes fans, but I've openly joked and said I'd rather have Sherlock Holmes at times, because I just don't think he's one, like you say, that's happy to coast along. When he's up for it, he produces spells of brilliance, but it's not consistent. It's too hit and miss, and you don't know what's coming, and you can't do that in this league. You can be 23rd and beat third place in this league.
Yeah.
So you need that consistency, and he doesn't provide that.
No, he doesn't. And like I say, as a team performance, we need every single player that is on that pitch to give absolutely everything. And I question his body language at times. I think he's very poor, and I don't like it. And I will admit that. That's not, and I'm just not his biggest fan. And like I say, I think he's in the last year of his contracts, and I wouldn't renew his contracts.
No,
so yeah,
I wouldn't.
Obviously not, because you already. But yeah, thoughts on Lee's playing poor? Yeah, we touched upon this earlier. I don't think it's that he's playing poor. I just think he needs support, and I don't think he's really got that from the players that he's been surrounded with. Unfortunately, obviously Nakayama has come in since then. Obviously, he wasn't with us right at the very start of the season, I just think that Lee's just needs a bit of help. He's still a very good player. You don't produce what he did last season without being a quality player, but he needs a player that support. He needs players that will help him around him, like anybody would. So I don't think he's played poor, in my opinion. So I disagree with you there, David. Unfortunately,
you're not a poor player overnight.
No, you're not. No, and I think from what I've read on Turkey, he seems to have been a great addition and could have seen you through the Premiership. He will be key. Yeah, Manny, absolutely. I think, like I say, he has been a great addition since he came through the door. Towards the start, he was a bit when he came in, he did start a bit slowly, but when we got a bit of consistency, when he got a bit of confidence and maybe developed that, and I think it's just all about belief sometimes about players. I think maybe if he didn't believe in himself a bit more than he should have done, and maybe that comes with confidence as well. He's flourishing this side, and he another one that has become a key player in this squad, and I just love him on the pitch. I think he's great. The Ginger Cafu, as we name him, of course. So yeah, the Ginger Cafu, we love him. We love him to bits. Ward is a good striker, but getting slower. Simpson will be a good replacement. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Ward is older now. I still think Ward still is an important player, regardless if Simpson comes through the door. Because, like I say, it's just another option having Simpson in. I think he'll provide the energy, he'll provide that enthusiasm that you need up front, and he'll provide something different. He'll always be looking. Yeah. He'll be like I say, he'll have a lot more pace as a 20-year-old striker would. He will. So. Yeah, like I said, Ward is he's getting slower, but he still has the quality, David, as you can agree probably with me there. But yeah, good point. When are we getting the signings? Hopefully over the weekend. Hopefully tomorrow. Let's unveil them both tomorrow, please. And that would be brilliant.
I think that will happen. I mean, I think I touched on that earlier on, saying I think Simpson will definitely be mentioned tomorrow, because if what I've read is correct and he has had his medical, then it's a good way to be. We do all the social media with the scribbling and the signature and that on the video and all that. But you saw it with Man United versus Liverpool and Casemiro coming in, and the fans and the buzz it creates and that, and it's it immediately lifts the fans before the ball's been kicked. So I think it'd be a nice touch if we could do that announcement and be there, and to welcome to the fans and that. I'm all for that.
Absolutely, and I think the crowd will be even more enthusiastic this time as well, with David Wagner coming back as well, which will obviously will give us all a boost as well to see him back in the stands for sure. So yeah, that gives you a bit of a feel good factor as well going into this one too. But yeah, it'd be great. I'm being greedy. I want both of them to be announced. We'll see. Obviously, the newest one. I think the newest link only kind of came out. I only saw it this morning actually, so I don't know how. But things can, in this market, things can be done, signed, sealed, delivered, especially if it's a loan, within hours. So yeah, you never know. But yeah, I agree with what you said. How long left to win it? It closes next week, doesn't it? It closes on Thursday at midnight, doesn't it?
That's it, midnight.
Yeah, so yeah, it does close then, so not long to go. But yeah, we're in good stead to be in a very good shape come that window closure, which is absolutely amazing to say, of course. I think it's good for the club because it's always good to have experienced players in, Hogg, and a lot of talent. Yeah, like I say, Harry's replying to Manny. We have had some very good. We have really utilised that loan mark, haven't we, over the years? And I think obviously, continuing this with the sign of him better from Man City is another key addition to how we have took advantage of the loan system. It's a beautiful system, isn't it? How we can get players in there. Maybe we not be able to afford, permanently, but we can still get them in on a loan.
You look at Emile Smith-Rowe.
Oh yeah, what a player!
I mean, oh my words,
Yeah.
When I saw him, it was just poetry in motion with him. It was just a pleasure to watch him, and now he's going on back to his parent club at Arsenal, doing well for them. I mean, he hasn't really started much this season, but you saw the potential at Arsenal last season again when he was getting in first team. You look at Anjonin, we've re-signed him. You look at Colwell, Casey Palmer, in our promotion season. The loan system is a great thing.
It's an important one, isn't it, for a club like ours as well, isn't it? We can't afford. We can't afford to be as much as fans say we do have money and all this. Unfortunately, we can't afford to be spending money, millions and millions and millions on players, because that's just not how we operate and how we will operate either. So, yeah, it is a good, system to have in, and that's why it helps teams like ours, because we've really saw. Like I say, Cole obviously last season was outstanding for us. We utilised that market very well, and Sanani, another one, he came in and did fantastic for us. So many loans that we've got over the years that have really worked out, and like I said, Smith Rowe, what a delight he was. But yeah, it's mental how pre-season we were talking about finishing playoffs or above, and now we are talking. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, everyone will start laughing at me because actually I thought we could really push on this season, and I thought that we could get into the automatic play. I actually predicted in my championship predictions we would finish second. Can you believe, Craig? But yeah, maybe.
Now that was a little bit more optimistic than me. I'm not gonna lie. I had us down as fifth. I had us playoffs again.
Yeah,
but hey, I can't fault that optimism.
I just felt my prediction back then was because at the time we hadn't actually lost many people, and we were adding to the squad as well. So I felt like we weren't that far away from getting that automatic place last season, and we hadn't lost many people when I did that prediction. So that's kind of why I said so, because I just felt had results maybe gone for us, the games that we maybe threw away leads or the games that we drew, we could have easily been in the automatic place last season.
Oh, without a doubt.
But yeah, he's one of those. So that's why I felt like we could really get into them playoffs, the automatic places. But yeah, we are. I don't think we're talking about relegation yet. I think it's too early for that, by the way, David. I think that, we are looking over our shoulders a bit. Okay. I don't focus on the tail at this point of the season. I think that, you've got to, we start off slowly, but, we have to we can't really, it's too early to be thinking about relegation fights just yet because, we have to see how we go because in a few games we could be up in the top half. You don't know, do you? It can change very quickly. So, yeah, I'm not sure I agree about the relegation, thinking about it too much just yet, even though it is in our minds a bit. Carl should have left early in pre-season after Wembley, or not. Yeah, we said that, David. We did. We said that earlier. I think that the way he left, the time, the fact that he waited and waited, we just totally ruined us even more. That we didn't need that preparation to be worsened, especially when it was such a short preparation for the season to start. Yeah, I agree. Please remember, everyone, it's a marathon, not a sprint, one game at a time. Very good point, Manny. You're always a guy of very trusted words. You always speak the sense. So, yeah, we've got that spot on there. David says, when we played Stoke, we looked like the old town from last season. So if we play like every game, we should get playoffs. Yeah, I mean, if we bring that enthusiasm, that fight, that, everything that you want in a performance, that clinical edge that we've seen at times, I think that we need... Like every team, you have to have a bit of luck in this game as well. We certainly had that against Stoke with the turning points of the game, after this penalty save and things like that. So,
the Dwight Gale offside goal, and then within 2 minutes, we're 2-1 up.
Yeah. So if we bring that energy, enthusiasm, like I say, we will definitely. There's no reason why we cannot be up there in them playoffs, automatic. Because I'm gonna keep believing. I'm gonna keep dreaming. Where it's not settled yet. It's still early on in the season, guys.
Still over 120 points left. We can win league, yeah.
Yes, of course. We've got to think like that. Playoff final destroyed us as we lost all our gems. We didn't lose all our gems, to be honest with you. We've still got a lot of gems in our squad. Losing Lewis O'Brien, Toffolo. Yeah, he did obviously Colwell and Sinani. Obviously going back, loan deals, going back to the clubs. We did lose a lot of players, but we still had the core of the group that helped us achieve that season as well. So we didn't lose them all, but we did lose a few, which didn't help us at all. But, we've got a new breed of talent coming through now. We've got the likes of Radoni, who is a superstar in my eyes. And I can say that already. Yes, I can, because I do believe he is a superstar.
I think he's fitting well in replacement in defence. Yeah. We kept Nichols, which was a massive. Yeah. If I had the choice, I'd rather keep Nichols over Toffolo. And I'm not saying that as a bitter fan that's lost Toffolo. I mean that genuinely. If it was you have to lose one of them, I'd have kept Nichols every single time over Toffolo.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, mate. To be honest with you, I think that Toffolo. As much as Toffolo was a great player, I think the defensively wasn't that great. And, I know obviously he had a lot to us last season in the attacking third, and that was great. But if you look at it, as much as he helped us get to that playoff final as well with his form that he showed towards the end of the season into the playoffs, I still think if you're in that position, you still need to be doing your job, which is to defend as well. So I don't know if that's. I know what you're saying. I would rather have lost. I agree with you in that point. And as well, it had to be the noisy people not down the road. You know what I see? Down in the middle.
Further down A1M.
Yeah, that had to steal two of our players. Just kick us a bit more, like we need to be kicked a bit more. But yeah, I know. But it is time to move on, guys. These guys have moved on. We have to move on as well. So moving swiftly on from that. Tom has given us a lineup. Nichols in goal, Turton, Hogg, Nakayama, Kessler, Head, obviously, Kamara, Radoni, Jackson, Tino, Ward, Pat Jones. Yeah. So you've got Pat in the team for tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting lineup, that, and I don't mind the look of that squad, lineup there. So yeah, very nice lineup. Glad about the Stoke result. It's a start, and I hope you'll build on it. Yeah, it is a very good start, of course, and we need to keep that. We need to make the John Smiths a fortress again this season, and we need to, get behind the lads a bit now, because I think that we've had a bit of joy over the last few games. Obviously, the Stoke game, and obviously, I think everybody will be up for the game in terms of the fans tomorrow. We won't stop singing, just because I feel obviously. With someone like a cult hero, legend, icon, whatever you want to call David Van Der, call it me. But yeah, we're having him back. It gives everybody a real good feel factor going into the game tomorrow for sure. I must admit, it brought a big smile to my face when I saw that news. Naturally, it gave me a bit of a boost as a fan actually to actually know that he'll be there in the stand, like I said earlier. So yeah, Hogg is not good enough anymore. He's scared. To be honest with you, David, I disagree, because. First of all, second of all, that second point you made, he's not in the team to score goals, and he's not in the team.
No, it's not. And his stats show that he doesn't score.
He's never been a goal scorer. He's always been in that team to do the dirty work, if you can say, get stuck in, and make the hard yards and really break up play. He was never in the side to score goals. I'm not sure what you mean about he's scared to shoot. He may be scared to shoot, but he's not really in the team to score goals. He's the one that like I say. So yeah. I do think he's good enough as well, by the way, still. I think that people are saying, he's rubbish, he's this. No, he's not rubbish. If you take that guy out of the squad, out of the team, you realise it sooner than you know it. So, that proves how big of a player he is for us. What do you think changed the most since last season? Do you think it's playoff hangover? I mean, it's a very, very good question, this, David, and I'm more than happy to answer it. I mean, I think it's a bit of a mixture of things, really. I think that, when you are robbed in that playoff final and you are completely robbed, I mean, the biggest disappointment for me was the fact that we didn't turn up on the day as well, which really hurt me even more, because we produced so much throughout the season. But having said that, they didn't do enough to win either, so it should have gone to extra time for possible penalties. Had we have not been robbed by our friends over in the noisy part of Leeds, of course, But anyway, we're not going to give him attention, because I've given more of that in previous streams, so that is all I'm going to say. But yeah, I think obviously losing Carlos as well, the timing when we lost Carlos, it was totally threw us out even more, like we needed to be through out even more. Obviously losing some players as well didn't help the situation. I think that this season, there was always going to be a slow start, I believe, because I think that, we came so close last time. I think, I just, like I said earlier, I go back to it. It's the manner of the defeats. Not that we've started the season slowly, because I kind of expected a bit of a slower start. I didn't expect us to hit the ground straight away, especially after the heartbreak of that final. You're not going to see players coming back at you with, them players will really hurt from that playoff final. That's what I'm saying to you. And I think that we're still hurting today, of course. But I think that what I'm saying to you is it takes, a few games in the season to slowly get over that, and I think we've seen that. We are slowly getting there. So the Stoke game provides us with some confidence and some much needed points on the board. So yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think? What do you think to this question? What are your response to it?
No, I mean, I agree with what you're saying there, Ryan. The shorter pre-season hasn't helped.
Yeah,
really hasn't helped.
Yeah.
And like you said, the timing of Calcis' departure, it threw whichever manager took over under the bus that was starting behind the 8 ball, and that hasn't helped the situation. And it's hard to say it's all playoff hangover because we've got a fair few players that weren't part of that team. You know, you likes of Adona, you know, you likes of Utah. So there's players in there that aren't feeling those effects. I just think there's a little bit of disbelief for those that didn't quite make it to the promised land, so to speak. And that, along with a tight pre-season calendar, and only just getting a manager right at the last second because of what happened. I just think it's an accumulation of all that. And it's like anything else, you know, you can't, you know, a well-oiled machine and a business, you know, has structure in place. When things happen, when dominoes start getting taken away and the dominoes fall, you know, it takes time to rebuild. And we just have to be mindful of that and just give the club a bit more time and let's just see where we develop from there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you speak so much sense, Craig. I'm just loving speaking to you. I think we seem to think alike. I'm sorry, but we do. But it's just great to have your thoughts on the channel tonight. It really is.
It's my pleasure.
I just agree with you so much in what you just said. The short pre-season definitely didn't help us. And like I said, even though Scofield was at the club, you know, it wasn't a completely new manager, but yeah, it still throws you under the bus a bit. And yeah, it is accumulation of things. But yeah, thank you for your question, David, for that one. Do you think? Yeah, we've kind of covered that. Yeah, we do think he's a very exciting player. If we can get that over the line, I think he will be a very good signing for us. There's no doubt about that in my view. I think he possesses everything. You know, he'll be a hungry individual, young talent. You know, energetic, brings enthusiasm to that team, and he'll be really appreciative of obviously getting that chance with us as well. You know, maybe things haven't worked out previously in his other clubs that he's been at, and maybe he just wants to start fresh somewhere. So. Yeah, Simpson, you know what to do. Please get that paper. I know it's not just you in charge, but please make sure you're with us in the next coming days, please, because I would love to see you in a town shirt. We need to see that unveiling very quickly. We've covered thoughts on Radoni, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah, we love him. Basically, he's a superstar. If we lose life experiences, hello there. We all love a life experience, but it's a great game, of course. But if you lose respect from players in the dressing room, it's game over for the manager. I mean, what do you think to this statement? I mean, yeah.
The statement itself's correct. If you do lose respect from your players. However, I don't know if that's the case at Huddersfield. If the players have lost respect. You know, if you're asking as a statement, you're right. If you're asking, is that what's happening at Huddersfield? I don't necessarily think that is the bigger picture here. I think there's more to it than no one agrees, no one likes Schofield, no one agrees, because you've got to bear in mind as well, some of these players like Sorba, for example, have already played under Schofield in the B team. And the flourish there, okay, so they can't have that much disrespect and discontent for him because they did all right in B team before coming to the first team. So I think it'd be a little bit disrespectful and unfair if I said the players have fallen short with respect for Schofield. I think I'd be doing Schofield a disservice there. I think it's a little bit bigger than that, to be honest. I think there's more problems of which we've already touched upon with the shorter pre-season and so on and so forth as to why things are happening than just the case of we've lost the dressing room already.
Yeah, I think from what I understand from reading the comment though, Craig, I think it was just generally if a manager does lose that respect from the player, I think that is game over.
Yeah, as a comment, it's correct. Yeah. But if it was about Town, I disagree.
Now, as we were online, Tom has just reminded me of this. It has been announced, obviously, that Ryan Schofield has confirmed that he is going out on loan to Hibernian, of course, for the remainder of the season, which I think he needs, by the way. I think that he needs. I think, to be honest, I do feel sorry for Schofield. I really do, because, and I'll tell you why. Because if you remember when we saw him for the most we'd ever seen him in the first team, he got through under the bus here as well, by the way, because we didn't have anybody else, right, for a fact, that could step up. I don't think he was ready, and because he wasn't ready, but he was still thrown in, it's not done himself any favors, because we saw, the kind of, when he came in as well, by the way, what support or level of support did you get from his defence? Not a lot, did he? And obviously, I'm not saying he was good enough, because he wasn't. He made a lot of mistakes. He didn't look very good with commanding his area. I'm not saying he didn't, but I think you've got to look at who he was playing with, and that's no disrespect to the players that was with us at the time. But yeah, I really hope that Schofield can have a really solid season in Scotland. I think sometimes you do need to get away from your normal surroundings and get out on loan and really reignite your career again. But yeah, I do feel sorry for him. I mean, what are your views on that, obviously?
I mean, I agree. And look, it's not just been him, has it? Look, I can't remember the name of that keeper we got from Manchester United. Dear, oh, dear, oh, dear.
Oh, my goodness. What was his name now?
Oh, that's how pivotal he was to our team. I think that says it all. So it's not just been him. Yeah, I mean, Schofield, he has looked a little bit shaky. And then he got the injury when he played against Burnley in the Cup. But look at Joe Hart. He's not done bad since going to Scotland. Yes, he's gone to Celtic, and it's a great team, and you're always going to look good in these bigger clubs.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is going to, whether it be lower league or up to Scotland, getting the basics back again, getting that time to play week in, week out, that is pivotal. It's a lonely position.
Yeah.
Is that, you can make a mistake as a centre-back, and you've got someone outside you that if you slip, you've got someone else up in air that can header that ball away.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you slip as a keeper, you've not anybody else that can dive and push it round post.
Yeah, it's highlighted a lot, isn't it? The effort that you make. I think if you are shaky, he does make the whole team shaky as well, I'm afraid, because
Of course it does.
And yeah, and just to confirm, the player that we got from Man United, the goalkeeper, was Joel Pereira.
That's it. Blooming heck.
But yeah, I do agree. I mean, would you say, I do hope, though, that he does get game time at Hibernia. I don't know if they've lost the keeper through injury or whatever. Maybe they've decided to get some more depth in the goalkeeping position. But I do hope he does play week in, week out up there, because otherwise
he needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if he doesn't, that's doing his confidence no good. And he needs that confidence boost more than most players, because he had that torrid start.
Yeah.
And then he got the injury.
Yeah.
Nichols came in and has been like a shining star. So all of it will play on his mind. And I'm sure we'll go, no, it doesn't, it's one game at a time. It doesn't affect me. It does. Of course it does. That'd play on anybody's mind. So I want him to go up there. I hope Hibs give him the game time. Let him prove himself. And, let's see where it goes for him. Because he's a lovely guy. Outside of the club, he's a lovely fella. Really is a nice guy. Nice, down-to-earth guy. Not quite made it for us. He's not quite to the levels we needed it, between the sticks, so to speak. But as a person, lovely fella. And I really hope it works out for him. I really do.
Yeah, and I echo those thoughts. I really do hope it works out for him as well. Like I say, best of luck to him. And yeah, it is. And like I say, he's a local boy as well here as well. So he has the club at heart as well. It's just not worked so far. But I just don't think the way we've integrated him into the side has helped him one bit, unfortunately. I mean, you've got to look.
I agree with that.
But yeah, good luck to Ryan Schofield at Hibernian for sure. The lineup needs to be spot on. I would have Nichols. I would start the same team as Stoke, but drop Leeds for Evans. Green. Leeds is you can't drop Leeds because he's already out anyway, David. He's got a suspension. The right back, he plays in the right wing back. I know you can talk about Hayden. We already know he plays further forward. To be honest with you, David, he's more of a right wing back because he's very, very good attacking, but he's very, very solid going defending as well. So he's got the best
quality
of both.
Quality player.
He has. And the fact that Steven Gerrard, by the way, said that he should come to Huddersfield Town is a massive credit to us, by the way.
Yeah.
So we love you, Steven Gerrard. We do. Very nice. Very nice to have that one words from a legend of the game, sure. 2-1 Town, you're going, David. Very nice. 3-2 Town, Harley's going. Very nice. Goal fest. Huh? As long as we come out on the right end of that goal fest, couldn't care less.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a nice scoreline as well. Andrew Ward and Swift for them. Oh, so you're telling us your goal scorers as well, David. Yep, fair enough. Do you see Schofield getting sacked? To be honest with you, I've always said this. I think that if Schofield was to leave, I think he'd leave on his own too. I don't think the club would sack him. I just think that, I mean, if it did get very, very bad and we were really struggling, potentially maybe, but I would like to think that, Schofield, if he was very, very struggling, say a few weeks or a few months down the line, he would do the right thing for the club. But I wouldn't like to see him sacked. I mean, what do you think about this? Do you see Schofield getting... I mean, to be honest with you, I don't see why Schofield getting sacked is on the agenda right now, and I don't think that's fair.
No,
so
it'd be unfair to him.
Yeah.
At this stage. I agree. I think it'll be done in these terms. I think he's... because as we've been saying about his persona as a person, I think he's the type of guy to go, do you know what? This club means too much to me for me to continue, it being a sinking ship.
Yeah.
We need to get this sorted. What I would like, though, is should Schofield go, do you know what? I'm not the right person to lead the team. I don't want him to leave the club. In an ideal world for me, he'd be back with the B team, with Worthington and being back there. I don't want this to be a case of he leaves and he leaves the club. I think that'd be really cruel on him as well. I think if he left or he was sacked, I'd like it to be a case of, look, we're relinquishing you from your duties of the first team, but we'd like you to continue as you were back in the B team. In an ideal world, that would be my scenario. But I don't think he'll get sacked. I genuinely don't.
I think that's what the club would do, and I'd hope they do anyway, keep him on if it didn't work out, because I think that you've got to give that manager, an assurance, because he's never been in a position like this before in his life, and, if it doesn't work out, which, to be honest with you, it was a gamble bringing Schofield, and whether the club knew him or not, and whether the club believed in him or not, he's still his first proper role in a manager job, so it can go both ways, can't it? There's no middle ground. It's either going to work for you or it's just going to be an absolute nightmare for you. So obviously that is too soon to be saying any of that yet. If we lose, do you think Schofield will walk? I mean, if we do lose tomorrow, how damaging do you think that would be? Because I think that, again, if we lose tomorrow, the morale will start dipping again after losing at Norwich and then we lose again at our home. He's going to be a bit deflating, isn't it, I think? But I don't think he'll walk, though. I don't think he'll walk after this.
Losing 2 out of your 3 home games, that has a big impact. Massive impact, it's never good to lose, home or away. But losing at home, if you've only got, winning 1 out of 3 at home and none away, that isn't good. I don't think he'd walk necessarily after tomorrow. But I think if we lost tomorrow and our next one, I think I could see him saying, do you know what? I've won 1 all season, only 1 of 3 at home. I'm not the right person. And I think he's man enough to admit that. So I think if we get nothing in our next in our next 2 games, nothing out of 6 points, then I think he'll walk.
Yeah. But like I said, let's hope we don't have to think about that. I don't like the argument of Schofield should go. Should Schofield go? Should he walk? The reality is it is too soon for me, and people to realise this. Holmes had a very poor and good start to the season. Like I said, that's 1 game out of how many games we've played so far, and I'm on about the overall picture as well, David. I think that overall his contribution, like I said, we've already covered it. His overall contribution has been shocking, if I'm honest with you. So, and he's just way below what he should be. So that is just my view. Up the town as well. There's still a lot of potential and talent still in the team, though. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have got a lot of potential and talent in this squad, and I know seeing people saying we should spend money and we should have spent a lot more than we have. No, we shouldn't, because we still had a lot of talent from last season. Okay, we had lost quite a bit of talent that we had last season as well, but we still have a core group of the squad that can do something in this league. I believe, and I truly believe that if the foundations are right, then we are able to compete in this division, as we have shown time and time again, and consolidated ourselves as a championship club over the years. But and like I said, we've got a lot of potential as well. Like I said, the youngsters coming through are really exciting me. They really are. I mean, we've got some great players coming through.
Marvin and Jones, they're gonna really shine.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got. It just excites me to see we have got these players on the fringe, and they're really pushing to try and get in the first team now as well. Right. Oh, yes, I do remember when you randomly got the Toblerone out in front of me and started laughing and really sidetracked me. Yeah, basically, Tom got his Toblerone out when I was speaking on my last stream, and yeah, it totally threw me. Yeah, we just found it rather amusing. But again, we've got another piece of information for you guys. It has been announced that Kieran Phillips is now going to be departing on loan for the season. And I believe I did see it in that he's going to Morecambe for the season. I mean, this is an important move for him, because I think that the club have kind of said, look, you're not really going to get much game time, with the players we've got this season. Obviously, if Simpson does come in, you're even more low down the pecking order. So maybe you should go out on loan and get your experience. I'm trying to refresh this, but it doesn't seem to be working. But it definitely came up on my thing because I saw it. I mean, what do you think that this is a good move for Phillips? I mean, we have seen him at times, haven't we, this season? But
yeah, I think for the short term, it is a good move. I think let him get the game time, let him get the goals under his belt, and then it will come in time, because he's one for the future, and whether it be next season or because Ward, Rhodes are not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
And if you've gone out, you've had your seasons at Morecambe, you've played in your League Two, you've played in your League One, and you've built up the skills. Yes, the Championship's different, but when you're coming off the back of seasons of scoring goals, there's a lot to be made for confidence. Although the Championship's difficult, if you're going into that season on the back of 20 plus goals, you feel like you can score at any division. And when you've got that confidence, you'll do things instinctively without thinking about it. And that's when you can be playing your best, because you're not over-analysing the game and just doing something on instinct. It can be, a great thing. So I'm all for him going out on loan this season and letting him build up that confidence and get those goals under his belt.
Yeah, absolutely. He's obviously a season-long loan as well. So I'm just quickly having a look, seeing if there's any recall in this. Well, I don't think they will. But yeah, no, I think he obviously is going to be staying there for the season. So yeah, it's a good learning curve for these players to come in go out on loan, and really stake a claim. Where do you think we will finish? Well, I'm still thinking. I know people call me deluded and all that, but whatever. I'm still dreaming, and I'm still going to stick with my place of second, because I believe if we get the foundations right in the coming games, starting tomorrow, and obviously continuing from the Stoke game, forget about the Norwich one. I think that there's no reason why we can't be up there competing, because we are a very good. I do believe in this squad that we've got now, and I think if we do have the other two that are being linked with us, we've got a really strong squad. I do, but like I said, I believe in every single player that is at the club already. But yeah, I mean, would you be sticking with your fifth place? Do you think we will?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think it's a poor start, but look at the bloody last season, noisy neighbours. With Forest, bottom at league after 7 games.
Yeah.
You know, who'd have predicted that run? Yeah, it doesn't happen all the time, but you know, you've got to believe and back your club. You know, 100% all
Yeah,
the time.
you have
You know,
absolutely.
win, lose, draw, you've got to be here for the team. And for me, I don't see fifth place being out of reach. You know, everybody will have a dip in form. You know, generally you see dips. Even last season, you saw Fulham at home. You know, odds on to win against us. We go there, turn them over.
Oh yes,
Bournemouth, look at the dip they had. If we hadn't have
yeah,
dropped, if the, you know, and I know I'm going to sound like a typical fan here blaming refs, but you had Russell, that perfectly good headed goal against Sheffield United. That were 2 points we lost because of that. You know, I was there at Peterborough where when we were 1-0 up and we dropped points there. We seem to bottle it a little bit with Bournemouth. But that, before you know it, that's 7 points there that
yeah.
we dropped when they had their blip. It's small margins. Every
It
club
is.
will have a drop. West Brom were in playoffs for quite some time at one point at the beginning of the season, and then they were out of the playoffs. You know, it's very easy for those teams to go in and out. And at the moment, I don't mind where we are at this time. It's where we are after 46 games that concerns
Yeah,
me.
yeah, exactly.
That's the main thing. I don't care if we were rock bottom today. If we're promoted after 46 games, who cares where we
Yeah,
would
just,
after
yeah,
5-6 games? It doesn't matter at that point. You know,
yeah,
it
no.
matters after 46. So I still believe we can get fifth.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very good points again. You know, I'm just loving this chat. It feels like, yeah, it's just incredible having you on. Do you see do you see us getting playoffs in anyway? I'm not sure in me. Obviously, well, like I said, we both think we'll get in the playoffs minimum, but I'm going a bit more optimistic at the moment. Top five, still a lot in it. Yeah, Harley thinks so as well. Top five as well for Harley. Yeah, definitely so, mate. I think it is one of those that we can be very, you know, not you know overly confident, but we can back our players and believe in our squad, and I do believe we are a very good squad. Who would you think has been our best player so far? I have to go with Rodone. I have to do, because I think he's been the star of the show since he's come in. The contribution he's made, I think, you know, he has been a superstar. From the moment he walked through the door, he has been a superstar, and I just love watching him. And he's really been a bright spark and got you off your seat, even if everything around, everything other than that was kind of, you know, it was very, you know. When I was thinking to myself, the games that we've played in the past, basically, I've always said Radoni, a bright spark in that performance.
Yeah.
But, you know, and however bad we were, I think Radoni still did as much as he possibly could, and I really respect him for that. But yeah, it has to be Radoni for me, I'm afraid. Yeah, definitely so. I mean, who do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I love Verdone. I'm a massive fan. For me, you know, I completely agree with that. One special shout, though, I think has been Rhodes. You know,
Yeah,
it's because it is come on the back of this of last season, like Ward, hit the ground running, scoring goals, and there was a lot of criticism on social media. There was a lot of, you could feel the tension, and I liked the statement Rhodes put out, you know, on the back of the losses, and you know how he was feeling, and how you know it was very well delivered by him, and you know that for me showed his character as well. So for Radona, without a doubt, star player, but and also a special shout out to Jordan Rhodes, because he's scoring the goals still, and I liked that little touch that he'd done to the fans, you know, on what's been not the greatest start.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I really do, and I've said that a lot throughout this room. But I do. I'm just honest. You just speak total sense, and I agree with you at every word, with every point you've made in this stream. I've just thought to myself, "Wow, you really do speak how I think." But yeah, Rhodes. Yeah, I mean, you know, you never lose your touch, do you? He's always had that. You know, people when we signed him, people were saying, "Oh, he's too slow. He's passes it all." No, he isn't. You never lose your touch in front of goal, and he's proved that. When you get the service to him, when you create chance for him, he will score goals no matter how slow he's got.
Of course he will.
Proving that. And what I like about it as well is, okay, he did have a bit of injury hit kind of start to his career back at Town, but obviously, he did put in the hard work, and the more we've seen him, the better he's getting again. And I just think he's getting a lot fitter, he's getting a lot stronger, he looks a lot sharper, he does.
It's like a fine wine.
Yeah.
Getting better with age.
Yeah. But like I say, Rose is a legend indeed, an absolute legend in this football club. What he's done, the amount of goals he's scored. And I'm really happy that he's come back and it's really worked for him, because he's a top guy, great professional on and off the field. And he always, no matter how bad it is or whatever, he'll always come and, clap the fans. That's what I like about him too as well. So, great guy. What a legend. How many fans do you think we'll have tomorrow? I think it will be looking at the 20,000 mark, personally, I think. Because, like I said, we already have got a lot of season cards. I mean, not saying every single person that has a card will go, but I believe that a lot of people will, because I think that obviously we won our last home game, and I think the fans realise that we need, to get behind him a bit more now. And also, obviously, David Wilder coming back is going to attract you more as well.
Impact.
Yeah. So, how many fans do you think we will have tomorrow then, Craig?
I'd go for I envisage 19,000-20,000.
Yeah.
Because you've got, I think it's about 15,500 season card holders we have. You've got your 2,500 West Brom. So that immediately takes you up to 18 before your David Wagner effect. And those fans that pay on the day that don't necessarily in a position to get the season cards, but come to the games, we'll have them as well. So I would envisage 19,500-20,000.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on there. Do you think West Brom will sell out? I think they have sold out the away end, haven't they, tomorrow?
Yeah. They've got a good support.
They're a well-supported club out there, West Brom. Obviously, they've still got that fan base there with them. So, I think I saw that they had sold out. I'm sure I did. So, it should be the full, I don't know how much that section, it's about 2,300 into it, I think.
Something like that, between 2 and 2.5, something like that.
I think they have already sold out, David. Hellick linked with Huddersfield. I would prefer that and better coming in from Man City rather than Hellick, but it is one of those. We'll just have to see. I think Hellick's been a link that's happened over the last few days, but we haven't really seen anything else materialise. So I don't think that will really happen. I think we're more looking at this guy from City now. So, yeah. But that is the end of the comments. Can you believe it? What a busy show we've had. Can you believe we have gone way longer than I thought? It's 2 hours, 13 minutes on the clock, and we are literally done. We are done for the night. Like I say, guys, I really appreciate everybody that's coming and engaged. David, shout out to you. Thank you for your amazing questions today. Harley, welcome on here. I'd like to see you back on the channel soon as well. But it's great to see a new face to the channel as well. And like I say, everybody else. Manny as well. Manny coming in for the first time since he subscribed to me the other day. It's been absolutely joyful. I absolutely love this. And like I said, thank you so much, Craig, for coming on and taking
my pleasure. My pleasure.
I didn't expect it to go over this long. I apologise. It is one of those. We just love talking about Town. That first period did take longer than I thought, but when I get talking about Town and when you talk about Town, we can be at it for hours. So I hope we haven't bored anybody this evening, but it has been really enjoyable for myself. And like I say, I hope you've enjoyed yourself as well, Craig. Thank you for coming on and taking your time to be on the show. Who do we have next after West Brom? Last questions. Bristol. It's Bristol. Yeah, Bristol. It's Bristol City, and then obviously we're at home against Blackpool on the Sunday. Yeah, Sky. Like I said, changing games because blooming Giants are in the home. Giants should be changing their game to a Sunday, and we should just stick to the Saturday. But that's my opinion. Get yourself a beer, Ryan. I'll go for a nice cold, ice cool Fanta orange. That's my specialty drink. But I'll pretend it's a beer just for you, Tom. Views been a lot higher this time. Well, it has been. It has been a lot. The views have been, and it's actually stuck with us throughout. We've been around the 7 to 10 viewers and we've not actually borne anybody throughout the time, so I'm pretty impressed. So yeah, good stream, well done. Well, good stream, guys. Well done, bro. Thank you so much, Harley, for coming in. I really appreciate you coming in. Like I say, you are new to the channel, so yeah, you probably have subscribed, but you haven't already. Please hit the subscribe button. It does help me. I am on the road to 200 subscribers. It would be great to get there soon. But yeah, like I say, if you do want to follow me on my socials, you can do. It is HTFTV8 on Instagram and Twitter. So please go and give me a follow on those. You will never miss an upload. And even better, if you want to click the notification bell as well, you will get a notification on YouTube when I go live or when I post some content. So why not do that as well? I'm asking a lot of you guys out tonight, but I'm sorry. But yeah, it is one of those. Please like the stream if you like what you kind of heard tonight. There will be plenty more from me, and like I say, hopefully Craig in the coming streams as well. So you never know.
Anytime, I'm always more than happy, my man.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, let's leave on this question before we go. Thoughts on David Rangnick taking over? Well, who wouldn't like a living legend to come back to the club icon? But I think we have to be respectful to Schofield here. I'm not talking about other managers coming in at this point because I just think we need to just back Schofield. Like I say, Schofield is in charge at the moment. We have to just, But yeah, if the situation arises when if we do need the manager, come on, David, you're welcome back in the hot seat anytime, pal.
Indeed.
But yeah, up the town, says David, and up the town. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Let's hope for a win tomorrow. Let's get them 3 points.
3 points tomorrow.
But whatever you do, guys, stay safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, good night, everybody. Take care.
Take care, Ryan. All the best, mate.
Yeah, see you later, mate.